everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bangers and Mosh, the podcast with the tools of the trade. I'm Jimmy,
I'm Defo.
and today we're stoked to be joined by the two Travises from one of our favourite new death metal bands, Barbarous. Lads, cheers for hanging with us this evening, dudes.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. We're chuffed to bits, if you will.
There we go.
Proper London geezers.
There you go.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure to have you on, boys. Honestly, I've rinsed the life out of the album since it came out. It's an absolute beast of a record.
Dude, thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. We really do. It means a lot.
That's honestly, dudes, it's one of the best. And keep your ears out at the end of the year when we do our album of the year shows, because it'll be popping up again. I can promise you that.
Right on.
Yeah, man. So lads, we wanted to dive just first of all, before we get to record, just into a history of the band.
Sure.
Because I knew nothing about you guys until Creator Destructor were like, this album's dropping next week for fans of this, and I was like, oh shit, that sounds intriguing. Album blew me away. So when did you guys sort of all get together as a band?
You want to take that one?
Sure. We actually started April of last year, so April 2024.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so the band's relatively new. Me and the bassist Zach. So this is going to get confusing. There's two Travises, two Zachs, and Tom. So bassist Zach and I were in a band previously, and Tom and the original guitarist Cody kind of started the project. Cody was already writing some riffs and whatnot. Brought Tom on, then Tom brought Zach brought me, and then we were looking for a vocalist, and we're like, hey, Travis, heard a couple of the demos and whatnot, and he was like, I got to be a part of this, but the guitar spots were already filled. So he's like, let me give a crack at vocals. First time ever doing vocals.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable. Because that vocal performance, when vocalists first start out, they have limited range. They're just finding their voice and stuff. Your voice is already commanding, and you've got so much personality in there.
Pro. Yeah. You should see my notes I have about you, mate.
That's
fucking insane.
No, I appreciate that. And just side note, I mean, I heard one of the demo songs and was like, I need to be involved with this. Just from half of that song, I was like, I gotta do this. Who are you going to kick out so I can play bass or guitar? And they're like, no, we're not kicking anybody out. And so, okay, so let me give this a shot. So anyway.
Yeah. So then we all met up and because we were kind of jamming the songs and everything before Travis joined up, and we met up April of 2024 and grabbed a beer and just talked about the band and what we were trying to accomplish. And it was kind of more like, let's have some fun. Like I said, Zach and I were still in another band at the time we were trying to get it going, and it wasn't really taking off, but we all sat down like, this is what we want to do, X, Y, and Z. And I mean, within, I think, a month, we were recording the demo.
Within a month.
Within a month of the band coming together, we were already recording the 2-track demo. Did some reels and stuff that kind of got some traction. The band started kind of climbing a little bit, and that's when we hit up Ben. And Ben was like, I'm down for this. We signed a Creator. The demo came out in September. By February of 2025, we were actually in the studio recording the full length. And then here we are. So it's been just nonstop, boom, 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 boom from the beginning.
Yeah, we've all been doing this for a long time with other bands and stuff. So we all kind of had the same vision. Like, all right, we're gonna do the demo. This is the way we're gonna look. This is how we're gonna sound. These are the shirts designs are gonna be like this. Yeah. It's fucking called death metal. Stay down that path. This is exactly what we're gonna do. And we've been doing it for so long. We kind of knew like how to, sell the band, if you will, or whatever. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think is this one of them cases where it all just clicked for you? Like, you can be in bands, can't you? And like, shit, this dude's not pulling his weight. This isn't going how I want it to. But is this just one of them? Everything's just like it's clicked naturally, and that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but the only thing was that Cody, the guy that wrote 6 of the tracks on the record, he didn't feel the same way as the rest of the guys. We all wanted to push the band hard. Like, dude, I'll be 40 next year. We're all in mid to late 30s, and we've been doing it for so long with so many other bands that haven't really gotten to that level we wanted to get to. So when I came in, I'm like, we're we're going to tour and we're going to do it. And so I think
Yeah.
Cody just wanted to take a little bit of a step back. And so we got our boy, Zach Weed, who I'm in another band with, to fill in on guitar. And now he's a permanent member and everything's working out. So that was the only other kind of slight, small, setback. But once he was in the fold, guns came out ablazing and we started hitting it hard.
Yeah, absolutely. No, have you guys sort of started seeing how the songwriting side of it will go now that there's been that change? Like you said, Cody wrote a majority of the tracks. Have you guys been like testing the water to see how songwriting will be in future now that you've got that lineup change?
So we are still going to have Cody kind of in our back pocket.
Okay,
he is still a very close
Ghost
friend.
Rider.
Cool. He's in another band now with Tom. I don't know how much of this I could talk about, but it's funny because it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing because their other project that Cody started that Tom is playing bass in now is called Tomb Spawn, which is funny because one of our songs is called The Tomb Spawn. So he started this project after the fact, but yeah, no, we're going to keep him in the back pocket, whether it's just a couple songs or some riffs or some ideas. But I mean, the thing is too, is like Zach Weed, he understands our sound. Like he wrote 2 songs off the record, the title track and Conscious Decomposition. But he understands the band. He understands what we're going after. And I mean, even if Cody only comes up with a song or 2, we have full faith that Zach is going to write exactly what we need as well.
He's a hell of a guitar player.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great composer. He's got solid ideas. I mean, he's, I would say, pretty flawless when it comes to guitar. So
yeah,
we're not too worried, but I guess we are a little bit.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like the record just came out a month ago, you know what I mean? So we're going to ride this wave as long and as far as we can. But supposedly, Cody actually might have a song laying around. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we need to have him involved. We love the guy. He wants to be involved as much as he can. But, again, the amount of stuff we wanted to do, he just didn't want to, at least at that point, didn't want to do that,
Yeah, my favorite moment on the record is actually on Conscious Decomposition. That breakdown at the end, man, fucking hell. The first time I heard that, Def, we say all the time, don't we? It's one of them laugh out loud riffs.
Yeah.
Where it's just so sick, you just can't do anything, but you just laugh at how fucking hard
good
it
is.
is. Yeah. So that's promising anyway to say. So dudes, let's get into the record then, because it's been out for a month now.
Yep.
How's the reception been from your side?
Dude, it's been great. It's been absolutely incredible. Again, we've been doing this a long time, and in the Bay Area in California over here, it is a little difficult to get a band to get a local fan base going, And so the inception of the band, we were like, all right, we're going to do everything but play here. We're going to play everywhere else. A national band, international, we're going to do as much as we can, and then maybe play the Bay Area now and then. So it's really cool because we got a lot of local people that are into it automatically, just right off the jump. And so, we're hearing it from close friends and other fans around. We just played a show in San Jose, South Bay from us, and it was a hardcore show. And so that was really cool because kids were into it. And I had people coming up to me and they were like, dude, we need more death metal around here. And like, you guys are super rad and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, the reception's been great, dude. You looked at the numbers on Spotify dude, it's just, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've been reading the reviews for the record. Look, Def, we do it all the time. And when we're making notes to talk about records, I always like to cross-reference it with reviews and see if people are picking up the same things I am. And every review I've seen has just been like super positive.
Yeah, we ended up having one semi-negative review, but even so, the guy still gave us like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
which is funny. But his biggest gripe was that basically we were not playing enough hardcore riffs, and like he doesn't need a follow-up record from us until there's more hardcore influence in our music. And I'm like, we're death metal. Like, where are you picking up hardcore from, bud? Like, this is.
I think maybe he thought that we were, because there are those death metal bands out right now that came from hardcore. Like the kids used to be hardcore and now they're playing. So I think maybe he just assumed that was what we were doing. He was wrong. But as far as that song Conscious, dude, that's like the one kind of, you could maybe call it a breakdown, that we have on the whole record. And that was another thing. Like, dude, this is OSDM, man. We don't want any breakdowns really. We want it straightforward. But that one section's real fun to play live.
Yeah, even that one section though, it's more of that's a suffocation, dying fetus, like slam. It's not a breakdown, is it? It's
no, exactly.
Yeah. But there is that line between hardcore and death metal has blurred so much. Like you're saying, there's so many hardcore kids now starting death metal bands. The lines are blurred so much, but I don't hear. Yours is a death metal record. It's that's what it is. Absolutely. So Travis, you mentioned earlier about signing with Creator Destructor. Was that just instantly like Ben was like, yeah, heard it and it was straight away just well, I want to put this out?
Yeah, so I mean, we were shopping labels and stuff
cool.
with the demo before the demo even dropped.
I sent it to everybody.
Yeah, Travis was like, I mean, from the small DIY labels to Century Media, he was sending it off. Just at that point, I think our whole philosophy is like, throw it against the wall and see what sticks, right?
Yeah,
because we know that we have a product, we have something that we want to market, and Ben was, I think, the only one that really reached back out, right?
Well, okay, so I made a mistake. The original email that I set up to send out to all the labels, I didn't think it through, but I had a Google link where you would have to click it and then get access to it, and then it was this whole process.
I hear you, man.
I didn't think about it, right? And so then I think I saw like an interview or I read something or maybe I researched it and I was like, duh, make it as streamlined and as easy as possible. So then before I sent it to Ben, Creator Destructor, we we put the demo on a YouTube link.
Yeah.
Like
what's it called? Unlisted link.
An unlisted YouTube link. Sent that picture of the band, short little write-up, and immediately he got back to me. But originally, like, Maggot Stomp was probably number one. And again, the way I set up the email, but I do think that everything happens for a reason. And Ben is the coolest guy ever, man. So we're really happy where we are right now. And I think it worked out for the best, But.
Dude.
But it was really cool because, like, Ben got it back to us because the demo released in September. I think we were already in talks with signing with him before the demo even dropped. And then the official announcement of us signing came out in November of last year. So like it was a little bit of some layover on timing and everything, but like it was basically like we just finished recording, we got it mastered. Here's the demo. We released it, and then he was like, cassettes, like what are we going to do with the full length? And like the constant wheels are in motion. So Ben's the man.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. And it's so cool for you guys that like you're saying, you had this idea of, right, we're going to fucking push on with this band, and then he had exactly the same ideas that you had. It all just like we're saying, it's just one of them things where it's all just clicked into place.
It has been one of those things. It has been since day one, and with everything, dude, with like the guys' availability to do shows, everything has just been that, like, it's just clicked. And when you sometimes you got to take a step back and look at that and acknowledge, maybe there is something special going on here. So,
I mean,
absolutely. Even down with the timing, like we were finishing recording and sending everything off to get mixed and mastered, by April of this year. And my son was born in March. So I had already finished tracking drums, and we were taking all this time off to finish the record up and everything. And my son's born in the mix. So there's like no major interruptions with the flow of, the band, and then also my family life and everything. So it's like all these pieces are coming together really well, and it's pretty awesome.
Oh, beautiful. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
No, that's lovely to hear that, man. And I mean, just look like their roster as well at the moment. Darkness Everywhere, Doomsday, Iron Front, Slow Breed.
We said in the chat, and they don't miss. Creator Destructor don't miss with any of their bands.
No, they don't. They don't, mate.
Dude, like, Tsunami, Snuffed on Sight, exactly. All those bands.
Yeah, they've become like $20 spinner one for us, Steph, and they Maggot Stomp as well.
Yeah.
If something's on them labels,
Instant.
Gonna listen
we're
to
instantly
it.
There.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, man. He's got a really good ear for that. And then furthermore, we're kind of like the only straightforward death metal band on his label, and that's why he was stoked. He's like, all right, well, I want to do, I want to work with you guys because of this and that and this, but another little reason was because of that. And dude, Ben, so Darkness Everywhere, his band, it's so awesome. Those guys rip, man.
We love them.
That last record, I can't get it out of my CD player.
It's so sick, man. I should have worn the t-shirt. I've got the t-shirt there. He actually sent us a few t-shirts, so he's that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's an absolute top man. So just wanted to get into the songwriting a little bit, lads. I know you said you have a couple of guys who wrote most of the material, but do you all chip in with like riffs and ideas and arrangement ideas and things like that as the songs are being born?
No, man. Cody Jones, the guy who wrote 6 of the 8 tracks, he wrote them all. I mean, we actually, let me take that back. There was a section at the end of By Letter Steel that we ended up just cutting because I felt like the song ended right there. So other than that, though, he wrote everything by himself and just brought it to the band. The drums were maybe slightly adjusted. And then same thing with Zachary Weed, who wrote the other 2 songs on the record. Same thing. Here you go. Here's 2 songs. And we loved them, Again, one of those things where things are just clicking for us, We're like, these songs are great, man. As far as the lyrics and the patterns and all that stuff with the vocals, though, Cody did help out writing with Tombspawn a little bit, but everything else was me. I had a little help with some of the guys from, a couple lines here, a song title there, other than that. But anyway.
But then also credit to our guitarist, Tom. I mean, he'll listen to something too. He's got an impeccable ear.
Yeah.
He'll be like, hey, we need to put a harmony there, or like a 3-part guitar harmony and like record it down or something. Or he'll say like, let's try this, but just change the picking pattern, maybe from straight 8s to triplets or something.
Cool.
So like not major modifications because everything was already a banger out from the start. But I mean, it was very refreshing coming into a band that's like, here's everything.
Yeah.
Run with it.
Yeah. It is one of them albums, like it's a straightforward death metal album, but the more you listen to it, there's little nuances and there's little melodies and off-kilter little parts that the more you listen to it, the more they come through. So it's, there is a lot of, he said earlier, there's a lot of death metal out there at the moment that is very, knuckle dragging isn't a bad term to use. It is very simple and basic, and your album isn't that. So it is an album you get more and more, the more you listen to it. You're not Dream Theater, but there are little bits in there that just really, oh shit, where did that come from? Or it's cool that you guys have on the debut album have flushed out your ideas to a point where the songs are so
stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
No, pleasure, dude. Travis, I can't believe you're still blowing my mind that this is your first vocal job. So did you, what's it like as a first-time vocalist when you get like the canvas of a track and you're like, right, I need to paint some vocals over the top and I need to make sure this flows right and I'm not using too many words or placing the right parts in it? Was that a real challenge for you, or did it again come quite naturally?
Yeah, so let me start from the top. So I've been doing slam and brutal death metal stuff on guitar and bass for probably about 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to come into a project where I'm like, I'm looking at all these 4 guys behind me and I understand where they all are mentally and physically and how everything's going on,
Yeah.
I've always loved the vocals and the drumming for death metal. That's kind of what got me into it. And, people like Trevor from Dahlia and stuff like that. I'm obsessed with that guy and what he did. So coming into it, I mean, there's definitely fears that I still have, mixed with the imposter syndrome situation still a little bit.
I hear you, man.
But dude, getting up there with no fucking guitar, and having to like talk to people and stuff, like it's not bad, it's okay. A couple of these bad boys who feel pretty good, But I also got a mic stand. I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, like I want to go old school, like obituary style. I want a mic stand. I got something to hold.
Yes.
At least, that makes me feel comfortable. But no, man, honestly, like as far as like my brain's fucking crazy and I hear these songs and I hear patterns in my head, like immediately. Getting into the record, though, maybe 3/4 of the way through writing it, I had about 2 or 3 songs left. And I was kind of getting to that point where I felt a little, I don't know, just cooked, a little burnt about it. So I told my wife, I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this hotel by myself for 2 days, drink a bunch of beer and shit, and just hang out and try and write some stuff. And I got some stuff done. But what I really found that helped me was like going on hikes or working out in the garage and having the songs playing on loop. That's where things like if I'm able to take my brain away, and I'm like physically doing something, then these ideas, they tend to pop up. And so my way of writing is I'll have the rhythm or the pattern in my head, and then, I'll kind of fit the lyrics in there, and then I'll make adjustments after that. And so that's kind of how I did everything. But dude, it came pretty naturally. And then again, I had a lot of help from the guys, 5 to 10% of those lyrics or ideas or song titles were given to me by my little brother, by some of the guys in the band, and some other people. So anyway.
No, that's cool, man. It's just such it's such an achievement. You must be like all of you super proud of what's come out of this so far. And considering how short a time you've been a band, it's like, no, it's stoked for you guys. Do you? So it's not easy to ask you two guys, but writing with live shows in mind, have you playing live shows? Have you seen the bits that go over the best and when the crowds react the most and like, I'll remember that for future, and we'll bank maybe a couple more riffs like this and more parts like that for future songs?
It's kind of crazy because it seems like every song, and I mean, maybe it's just me, kind of looking and observing everybody, but it seems like from start to finish of our set, like people are into it. It doesn't matter if there's no particular riff or particular song that is like catching people's attention for either movement in the pit or, their head banging or following along. Like
there's bits in each song, that people will do that
for sure. I mean, there's those couple finite little moments, but it seems like overall, like the crowd reaction has just been all welcoming for the entirety of the songs, the entirety of the set. Our stage setup right now is, I got a little bit of a larger drum set, which is a pain in the ass to move around, but it serves a purpose. It's got the 2 kick drums with the insignia on the front. Our cabs, they all have scrims with the insignia. Travis has a hand forged sword mic stand.
Oh, it looks so sick, man. It looks so sick.
I love that thing.
We got chains hanging from, our amps going down to our cabs and everything. And so I think the imagery is what also helps get people enticed from the get-go. And then, we come out the gate swinging hard with, one of our songs, and it's like straight into it. Like our last couple shows we played, we started off with the song Anointing the Sick, which we haven't played since we recorded it. And that seemed to get like instantaneously. The room started moving as soon as the drums and guitars and everything started that song out live. So
there's also that part in Conscious. We'll do that live, and there's that big buildup where it's like guitars are ringing out and drums are hit, and I'm doing the lyrics, and so I'm just there, just hyping, and when that hits, it hits hard. So
and right when
good,
it's not on record, but I put it into the live set with the backtracks and stuff, and all our backtracks aren't really anything super crazy. It's just like some vocal effects for like trailing end stuff, and the one thing I added was in Conscious right before the drop. I'm hitting the cymbals. And then we go into the riff when the vocals start back up. I added an 808.
Oh yeah,
and it's not on record. Just one. We had to
this
do.
Ain't no deathcore band, goddamn.
And we I forgot what show we played it, but the ground actually rumbled, like the stage rumbled with the 808. You just see people go like their head banging, they're feeling it, and all of a sudden they feel the 808, and they're like,
straight in the chest.
They like straight up did not expect it, because it's not in any other songs. It's not even on record. But
if you've got a part that good, you've got to accentuate it, man. Like it's
exactly.
But that's so good. So you were saying about like the insignias on the drums and all that. Was that one of the things you were saying, Travis? Like, we're going to make a go of this. We're going to do this fucking properly. Was all that stage presentation was like, well, that's part of it as well. Then, like, really putting a lot of focus into how you're going to present yourself from day one as a as a band?
I think that came later. I didn't really have that idea in my head, but you know, once we really started thinking about it, I mean, it was a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah.
And Travis over here, I mean, me and him run the band behind the scenes. We're on the phone every day. He's the one that handled everything for the kick drums, insignias, and all the stuff on the amps and everything. And then the chains, that was because of the Tools of the Trade video. We were like maybe week of, we're like, oh, well, maybe we could, you know, throw some chains on there. And we're like, all right, well, this looks great. So we're going to keep him, you know, we're going to keep this going because it just sets the mood, you know?
Yep.
And the coolest thing for me, I'm going to go on a little side tangent here. The name of the band and being able to do the whole imagery of traditional death metal stuff and the, you know, medieval thing, we all love Manowar.
Yes.
And swords and shit, you know what I mean? So like this is like one of the only like traditional style death metal bands that I know of that can kind of mix both those two things together.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that like it wasn't, you know, we don't need t-shirts with big giant muscle dudes that are half naked or whatever, but like, you know, have that that vibe mixed in there as much as possible. And that bleeds into the lyrical themes too. You know, some of the songs are directly kind of that route. But anyway.
No, it's cool, man. Like bands, you don't need to spend a ton of money to make your show look good, but just putting a little effort into the presentation of film makes such a difference because you could be supporting, you know, you could be on a bill and there's 4 support bands. If your one is the support band who people can look at and go, they've got something, man. They've like, look at the presence, look at the effort they've made. Mm-hmm. That makes you stand out instantly. I think it's such an important thing, especially when death metal is real saturated, man. There's so many bands out there. It's such a great thing to have something that's uniquely you.
Yeah, no, I think it's extremely important. And to talk about, you know, day one when we started chatting about the band, I mean, my whole thing was like, bro, you guys are going to hate me. But he doesn't have to wear it, but everyone else is wearing fucking black pants and long sleeves, baby. Like this is going to be our thing. We're going to do it. I had a little bit of pushback from one of the guys, but you know, they get it now and they understand. And like, it really, you know, again, we've been in so many bands and I've never tried that or, you know, made an effort to try that. And so that was kind of one of the things too, you know, I want it to look a certain way. We need to look a certain way. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we're in Texas in the 110-degree heat where we got to maybe talk about doing something else. But so far, you know, it's worked out. But it's all part of it, you know. It's a presentation and we just, you know, we feel like it's working. So we're going to keep on going, you know.
You can see it in the promo shots. They're also uniformed and have a certain look about them that's
sure.
You know, you see so many bands, don't you, with like one guy's in a flannel shirt, one guy's like, you know, and they got 4 dudes who all look like they're in different bands, and it's like, oh, come on, man, like, make some sort of an effort at least, like.
Yeah, that was what was funny. I think our first live show that we played, we took some promo shots outside of the venue, and everyone's wearing the long sleeves, the black pants, and everything, and here I am wearing a cut sleeve and camo shorts. And I just stand out like a sore thumb. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. I don't care if I have to change like before we play. Like I gotta look apart. He's like, oh, dude, it's all good. You look sick. I'm like, yeah, I don't though. Like, the camo pants are cool, but like, you could tell, like, hey, this guy's a weirdo, just not dressed.
Who's this loser? We've had people come up and be like, so is that like the unofficial, you know, uniform? And we're like, no, it's official as fuck. That's exactly what we're wearing. You know, we've talked about it, man. Now the problem is, hey, bro, what shirt you gonna wear, bro? You know, because we all have the same fucking shirts, and you know.
Dude, I hear ya. Every time us 3 go out together, we're always make sure all 3 you do not want to all turn up wearing the same band shirt, do you? Like it really is metalhead problems that.
yeah, it is.
You should do it though.
I think it'd be cool.
One show, everybody wears the same
exact shirt. Yeah. One day we'll do it. We like having fun, you know.
Yeah, man.
It's serious, but we like having a good time.
Oh, you have to, dude. Like, so I wanted to ask you what's the album title inspired by? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so Initium Mors, we've had many conversations about this, and you know, death is the beginning. So you know that kind of means all of us starting a new band. It also kind of means me personally on my own journey with, coming from playing an instrument to doing vocals now. But I just really wanted just a big fucking statement, a big statement. This is our first debut record. And also having the demo called Coup de Grace, in a non-English, title. I thought that would be kind of cool to keep that vibe going. But yeah, I just felt like it fit perfectly, and then it transferred over to the cover, and all that stuff, which we can get to in a minute. But
yeah, absolutely.
You have anything to add on?
Yeah, I mean, it basically just the caveat to Travis, it's like, we're all coming from what, probably 15, 16, maybe close to 20 years worth of bands, that we've all been a part of and stuff. So it's like the things that didn't work, the things that are working now, it's like the death of those things are the beginning of something new, something better, something more exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just like there is a double meaning behind it, but also like Trav said, like it's meant to be a statement, like maybe even in the scene, maybe with how we play death metal, maybe it's like the way that things have been for like the last few years might be changing, it might be a new beginning for something within the scene and kind of a revitalization of the old school death metal thing. So,
and it's just the beginning of our band.
Yeah,
sick.
So it kind of I think it was perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a million albums called, Cauldrons of Rotting Flesh and stuff, isn't there? It's nice to have something. It's nice to have something different that you have to research and look into. I wonder what that means, and people can take their own what they want it to mean as well, which is really sick. So the recording of the album, lads, it was Rapture Studios, where you recorded mix and master. Did you guys have reference points for how you wanted the record to sound? So like taking your favorite, I like the tone from that album, I like the snare tone from this record, and you had those sort of, we know how we want this album to sound before you went in, or was it all see what happens and how the songs progress as you're recording them?
So just a little backstory about Rapture Recordings. Cody Fuentes, the owner of the studio and the main engineer and everything, and he's been a buddy of mine up almost freaking 20 years now. And I've recorded with them. Zach has recorded with them. Travis has even recorded with them.
Cool.
And it's actually, his studio is actually where we practice.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow,
it's a giant old venue that I helped build the actual control room and the live room and everything for recording.
Nice.
And so we practiced there. So, Cody already was listening in on what we were practicing and hearing kind of what's going on, knowing full well that we were going to go to him to record pretty much the whole record. The only caveat is that Zach Weed recorded all the guitars at home, and Cody mixed and mastered everything,
reamped them,
and did all that stuff. But going into the recording process, I mean, we had an idea of what we wanted it to sound like, and we were talking about like, we want it to sound like a modern version of Evisceration Plague by Cannibal Corpse.
Guitar tone wise, for sure.
Yeah. And
nice.
Drum wise, I told Cody, I was like, I don't want these drums sampled. I want raw tones, but just polished and tight.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no worries. So, we recorded drums and then bass there because we already had the guitar tracks already laid out and everything. And then Trav was originally going to go to our buddy Matt's place where he did the vocals for the demo.
Matt Kilner, he was the drummer for Vitriol the last couple of years. He's one of my best friends, so he just left the band.
Yeah.
But so I was like, Trav, just go to Cody, man. Go to Cody, trust the process. And just, Cody was already like, I really want to record vocals because I'm already so invested in this record. I'll do what you guys want, but I would really like to take a stab at the vocals. So Trav went in and laid the vocals down, I think, in 4 or 5 days total?
Yeah.
So,
but immediately I was like, yeah, the way his gear and the way he worked. I mean, we were like this. We're on the same page. So
yeah,
it worked out really well. Cody helped produce to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, hey, Trav, try a different fill here, bass wise, let's try something different here. vocals helped out, with like layering and maybe some other ideas here and there, but like wasn't as like producer-esque, like some guys can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't even really give him any notes on the mixing end of things. Because like I said, Trav and I were kind of talking like guitar tone would be sick to do like this, and this would be sick for drums, this would be sick for bass, what have you. And then Cody ends up just sending us the first mix, and I think he blended the
You're talking about amps?
the amps.
Yeah, it was dual rectifier and a fucking
dual
5150.
And a 5153.
So we're like, we got it. And we're like, did we tell you that we wanted the evisceration plate? Like, what do we?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even
perfect.
give you the notes for the mix yet, and like kind of what we're going for reamps. And he was like, no, I already heard what you guys were trying to do, and I knew. And he sends me a text, and he sends just a picture of Evisceration Plague's music video, and the guys are out. I couldn't even reply quick enough, and it's just you see, Corpse Grinder, and they're all in the snow near that barn and everything. I was like, no, you hit it. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah. And I don't even think there was really any major revisions outside of like, hey, this scream might be a little too long. Let's chop it back a little bit. Snare tone, like let's just boost the volume on the snare here, turn down the triggers. The only sample on the drums was the trigger. Everything else was all natural tones and not like overly quantized. So it's like, trying to keep it raw.
Going into having Cody mix and master, that was a big question mark, because the demo was mixed and mastered by Greg from Earhammer, who is in a local band called Death Grave, and they totally rip. He also plays bass in Autopsy.
Oh, sick.
And Greg's the man, and he's really cool. And I felt pretty bad because we were already like, we planned on it. He was going to do but once we did the entire thing with Cody, he really wanted to take a stab at it. I originally was a little reluctant because a lot of the stuff, the majority of the heavy stuff that he does is like Spite and like Acacia Strain and a little bit more produced. And so going in, we were just like, hey, and he was like, I get it, bro. Like I understand what you're already going for. And I think the initial achievement was supposed to be like an Exhumed and something like Evisceration, like something that's like raw, but it's well enough produced where you can hear everything.
Yep.
And we did all the reviews, like even the ones you were talking about, the ones that we read all the time, they nailed it. I mean, it's raw, but you can hear everything. So it worked out very well. Cody's the man.
And I mean, we ended up talking because, I worked with Cody for a while in the studio. I was assistant engineer, setting stuff up and doing some tracking and stuff myself. So I get all of his little lingo and all the jargon and stuff that he talks about. And he's like, so just want to let you know, I completely changed my entire master chain for your record. And because, guys that mix and master, they kind of have their set thing, they'll adjust little levels here and there and, pump it, as loud as they possibly can. But Cody was like, I completely changed how I do my master for this record. And he was like, I'm completely blown away by it. So you guys just now set the new standard of what I'm doing with my masters going forward.
Shit.
So people will hear it and want to go record with him,
Yeah, that's it. It opens up doors for him as well now, doesn't it? Bands will be hearing your album going, he's the man. He's he's the one you go for. Like it's in my note says sound wise it sounds like a classic death metal album, but with a razor sharp modern twist to it. That's exactly what you've described.
Yeah,
that's you nailed the head of the nail, whatever they fucking say. Whatever the fucking saying. Yeah. Now that's it though, man. Yeah.
That's sick, man. So do you all chip in with how putting together the running order for the record, how the tracks flow?
Yeah, that was really Travis and I. The funny thing was about that was we had it figured out before I did any vocals.
Oh wow!
Like we had Tomb Spawn and we had Injection done because of the demos. We knew what those were going to sound like.
Yeah.
And with the demo and the record, I wanted it to be no tracks, no 808s, no fucking breakdowns. The minute it starts, you're going to hear my vocals and you're going to know exactly what kind of band that we are.
Yeah.
So I wanted that for both, the demo and the record. So that was a big point. But yeah, we figured out I think we had the entire track listing figured out before any of the other vocal parts were even done. And it ended up again working out perfectly. But there was a couple of really cool things that happened. So like some hardcore bands will do this where they take their demo, the name of their demo, and they'll name the last song of the record that.
Yes.
I've seen that before. I also think that the bands used to have these closing tracks on records and they used to be great. And like that kind of went away for a long time. And so I thought, let's change that. And the last track that we have, coup de grace, the cool thing about that, I think this was Travis's idea, where the last line of the last song of the record says the final fucking blow. So it's like all these kind of little connections in there, you know what I mean? But yeah, once I laid down all the vocals and we listened to it back, the running order, we were like, this works out very well.
Yeah, I think we finished tracking drums and bass and had a rough mix without vocals. And I was at work and talked with Trav, and I was like, so this is what I'm thinking for the track listing in this order. And he was like, really? I was like, just listen to all the songs in that order. And this is without vocals. I was like, listen to it and let me know what you think. And he was like, I think you're onto something. Then we laid down vocals, and then finally everything got put into the correct running order. And he just looked at me. He was like, how?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I was like, because I heard the riffs. I heard how, and like we've said, we've been around the bush for a long time with this. We know what works and what doesn't work. So listening to the songs is like, okay, this starts off like this, and then it's banger, banger, a little bit slower.
Yes.
And then another little bit slow but really heavy banger, and then conscious, just straight out the gate, crack, 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 right into a driving riff.
The only song that has the snare, the 4 snare hits in it in the beginning.
And it just worked. And we were talking with Ben about it from Creator, and he was like, oh well, yeah, let's talk about maybe changing up a little bit of the running order and whatnot. And we were like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out, like whatever. And then he started really like diving into it and listening to it. He was like, we're not touching it, it's perfect, like just leave it as is.
Yeah,
I think there's a big thing about that third track too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go on, Def. Was you gonna?
Oh no! I was agreeing completely.
Yeah, it's and how your favorite albums flow. So you know from listening to your favorite records how they flow. You get that idea of how you want your record to flow because you have similar.
And Jim, how many albums have we listened to where that final track is always so different from the rest of the album? And it's
Sure.
in a good way, because sometimes it could tease you on what that band could go on to do next.
Yeah.
But with Coup de Grace, it's fucking an assault of a track to end. It's not slow. It's, you know what I mean? You're carrying on. And you want more. I want more of it. And I was telling Jim today, that's my favorite track on the album. The way the fucking track ends, man, it's like, holy shit, man. That's how you fucking do it, man.
I think that was totally intentional. And we have a couple of D-beat parts in that record, and that song's got that in there. But to back up for a minute, in the history of music, a lot of like real famous records, the third track is like the track, right? And so because we chose Tools for that one, and we have Injection in the beginning, where, like I said, you come out with the vocals immediately, you know what kind of band you're going to get, and then having that By Letter Steel, that the second single in the middle there, it just, I wanted the record to immediately be like, okay, we're going to catch you, and the rest of the record you're going to have to get to, but you're going to know if you like it within these first 3 tracks. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I knew within the first 1 track. I liked it. So yeah,
man,
you absolutely did your job, man. So you guys mentioned the cover earlier, like Dan Seagrave, man, to get him to do your debut album cover. How did that all come about?
It was funny. Ben from the label was kind of like, oh, dude, like, I don't have enough money to help with that. Like, maybe you should do. And I was like, no, you don't get it, bro. Like, we'll do the cover. Like, I don't care how much it costs. There's no pennies being spared here. We're doing this the entire way because all of our fucking eggs are in this basket, and we know that there's something special going on. And there's no way that I would ever do the AI thing. There's no way that I would ever get a $400 cut. Like, there's just we have to go all out. We're gonna go all out, and we're gonna fucking do it right. So I contacted Dan, and he was extremely easy to work with. and I just feel like a caveman because I'll just be like, Dan, I want this. And he just would give me this paragraph of like, I mean, he's very well spoken, dude.
Yes,
You know,
yeah, he is. Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was very, very easy, and he gave us like 6 different
renditions
of the cover. Like we could have this angle, and then there's one in here of this thing, and there's
a top down of just the
bird's eye view and all this stuff. And so we chose the one and went with it, and he just made a couple of small little adjustments, and he was the one that came up with the color scheme of it, which worked out very, very well.
Oh yeah.
The like deathly eerie green and everything, dude. And yeah, I mean, dude, he just knocked it out of the park. We knew no matter what he was going to do, it was going to be good. So it was a pleasure to work with him, and the guy's just a legend.
I mean, it's Dan fucking Seagrave, you know, like
Absolutely.
no matter what he touches, whatever he does, I mean, he's been around for and doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And when Trav told me, he was like, no, I emailed, Dave or Dan. I was like, okay, we're doing this. We're going Seagrave here, and it's going to be freaking sick. So
to just have that on your CV as like the guy did our artworks, done Suffocation, Entombed. Like, do you know what I mean? Dismember is to have that.
Angel,
it's something you guys can treasure forever. Like you can look back when you're old men and be like, shit, man, we got a Dan Seagrave cover done, and like it's such a cool thing.
The problem is now is that we set that standard, right? Now we cannot so in another year and a half or 2 years or whatever, when the next album cycle happens, we're like, hey Dan, we need another one, and we need it to be
better,
more brutal, and this is what we're thinking. Help. But I think it's just one of those things where it's a curse and a blessing, because you come out strong.
Yeah.
Now you have to come in with a sophomore record and do it even better the next time. And but
we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You know what I mean?
But
I'm not worried about it, man. I really think it's going to be cool.
The way so far from the demo to the album, I haven't got any doubts, man, that you guys will fucking be like, that debut album, we're gonna smash the life out of that on this next one. Don't you worry about that. So
that's how we feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. So just wanted to dive in very quickly, guys, into your sort of influences as players and stuff. So it's going to be difficult for you, Travis, because I've asked to ask you vocally about your biggest sort of inspirations and stuff, but you've not been doing vocals very long. But you mentioned Trevor earlier.
Trevor was one of them. I mean, dude, the guy was just insanely intelligent. You know, he was an English major. So there's that. I wanted my lyrics to at least try and be poetic and well written for the most part. I tried. But the 3 guys is Frank Mullen. It's what I'm talking about tonality wise.
Yeah.
Frank Mullen, George Corpse Grinder for like the super fast, machine gun stuff. And then Chase from Gatecreeper is more of like the little drawn out stuff. So my thing was, I really wanted one part in every song, whether it was a chorus that I was going to be repeated or whether it was one part. Each song had a riff that I could create this kind of like anthem vibe to.
Yeah. Sometimes
it was just 2 lines that were repeated that were like, okay, the lyrics need to be, they need to sound cool or whatever, so I really wanted that to be involved, because I think that, we were talking about it earlier, there's a hell of a lot of death metal bands out there that are new, that are modern, that are doing the old school thing, but it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
And those hooks and the catchiness is like sometimes kind of what they're missing.
Yeah.
So I really wanted that to be a huge part of every single song. But yeah, man, Chase is awesome. The drawn out stuff is him. The super fast stuff is George. And then Frank is a little bit more of like, I'm trying my best to do something like that, but it just kind of naturally happened, and now that we've been doing it for a little while, I feel a little bit more comfortable and confident with what I'm doing and stage presence wise and all that stuff too. So
yeah, dude,
those are my guys.
Smashing it for a fast attempt, man. So
yeah.
What about you, Trav? So drum wise.
So early on, I've been playing drums since I was 7, and I'm 34 now. So like I started listening to early stuff like my dad would have on vinyl. So like guys like Tommy Aldridge, who used to play with Ozzy,
Yeah.
Whitesnake, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater was huge when I was growing up for me. And then when I started getting into more heavy, um, you know, death metal, whatever you want to say, like it was Chris Adler, Lamb of God, Shannon Lucas for sure. Like
Ah,
when Nocturnal dropped, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing like him one day, So
Best record ever.
It's not even close yet, but Shannon Lucas, Jason Bittner from Shadows Fall. I mean, the list can go on and on and on, but like I think the big thing for me is always pulling influence just from the records that I've loved since high school, right? Like not trying to reinvent the wheel, not trying to be the fastest, most extreme drummer because the music doesn't call for it.
No.
The music is more groove oriented, and there are moments where blast beats and fast double bass are needed, but being able to lay back and drive, is where I kind of pull some of the older influences of stuff. Like I said, more like the Tommy Aldridge stuff, the early Chris Adler stuff, Shannon Lucas for he could groove too. I mean, he's done so many great things. But then you got guys like Adam Jarvis from Misery Index and Pig Destroyer. He's fast, and that's like I would hope that some of my fills and stuff would show a little bit of influence of him. Like with how he goes across the toms and onto the cymbals and stuff. So
I was gonna say, dude, the drum fills in the songs really make it's like that extra icing, on the cake that really, helps the songs a lot.
Because that's the thing, I don't ever want to, hog the spotlight. I've been doing music for a while to know that it's not the drum show. You got to think about the whole composition. So going into it, it's like drums were mostly pre-written, and there was a lot to take from it that were really good. And I learned those, but I was like, I got to throw my spin on things, and even in the recording process, I was like, trying to do something flashy. And then I was like, let me listen back to that and listen back. And I'm like, nope, it just needs to be simple. Even if it's just 16th notes going across the toms or 8th notes back and forth or what have you, like less is more. And you got to definitely feel out the song and make sure that you're not taking away from it because there's so much going on. And, we hadn't even had vocals on yet. So it's like, if I do all this crazy shit, how are the vocals going to be over the top? And is it going to be too busy and too concentrated on the drum end that it's going to ruin the song for everyone? So,
and the best drummers like know how to serve the song and pick their moments to like, this is my little moment I'm gonna have here. Like Chris Adler does it like on Laid to Rest in that where he's got the little ride cymbal taps. And those little moments, because he picks and chooses when to do them, they fucking hit so hard. Def, you said earlier when you listened to the album, you were like, the first word you said was groove, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the drums are the biggest part of that. Like the groove all over this record is just so infectious, and the drums drive that so well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's why it worked so well when we did the hardcore show. That hardcore show, there was 4 hardcore bands, us, and then Darkness Everywhere. Lights were on. The lights were on. It was very weird for us, but it was cool. And dude, the kids were doing all the moves the whole time, and it's because we have these these grooves and this mid tempo stuff every now and then. So it does work out. It translates to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's cool.
So, dude, we wanted something we've started asking bands recently because not a lot of people dive into the human beings behind the music. Like, how do you guys, like Travis? You were saying you're like a new father. Like, how do you guys balance the band stuff with jobs and families and things like that, and like the logistics of booking tours? Have you all got to take the same time off work and all this? Like, how have you found that so far?
Yeah, so I mean, all of us all have careers. Trav and I have families. He's got 2 kids. My son was just born.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone else has significant others too that, but it's a weird balance, but all the scheduling is already worked out so well, that and our families are they understand what we're doing. And I think for the first time, because at least for me, like bands in the past, like it was kind of this whole thing of like, well, when I become a family man, like I don't know if I'm going to tour. I don't know if I'm going to do all these things. And then this band is doing what it's doing. And then, you have to sit down and be like, hey, X, Y, and Z, this is what's going on. But I mean, family's very understanding. definitely gets what we're trying to accomplish, and knowing that, we've all been striving for, almost 2 decades with trying to make a band work like this. So it's cool because all of our practices are during the week after work. And then the shows and everything come up. There is definitely a strain with, being gone, for a couple days out of the weekend, or like when we do a run or something for a week or two or what have you. But like, I think overall there hasn't been really any major issues with scheduling and families and even like hobbies and stuff that we have going outside. I think the biggest thing is like just we see a lot of each other, and that's basically the only problem, is that by the end of it, like we just did the 2 days last weekend, and we're packing up and we're all getting in the van and we're all just silent and we're like, I don't want to see you for a week. Let's just take a break for a week, come back in and start practicing.
Yeah.
That would be the only point of contention. But
no, we're all super close homies too, which is cool, because there's a lot of bands out there. Like I was just reading the whole thing about Jesus Piece.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And that dude, we don't need to get into it, but I just, the guy's right. It's like, just because you're in a band together doesn't mean you guys are all home, but we're all real close. We love hanging out with each other, and we like having fun and, making fun of each other and stuff like that. But we haven't toured yet. We've only played 9 shows, man. The first time we did back-to-back shows was last weekend.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
And the vocal, I was a little scared. I need to be careful because I talk a lot, and so at the show trying to talk over people, that's where it's going to blow out my vote. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm aware of it and I know about it. So there's a possible week that we might do in October. Things are still kind of getting put together, but that's the plan, man. Like we 100% want and need to hit the road with this record and this project as soon as we can. So next year we're looking to cross the pond. We're looking to get over to Europe. Yeah, 100%, man. Yes. 100%. Yeah. I'm real close homies with the Crepitation boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sick.
Joe Mortimer is one of my really close friends. And then I also play bass in a band called Cerebral Incubation. And we were over there with 357 Homicide. Those are my homies too. And so we're trying to get some stuff going on in the UK and in Europe next year. 100%. So
wicked.
We'll be out there.
Yeah, we spoke to a couple of lads from Doomsday earlier in the year, and they were both like, look, if it comes down to it, we'll do whatever we can to make this band as much, push it as hard and as far as we possibly can. It sounds like you guys have got exactly the same sort of ideas for the band.
100%.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Right then, lads, you've been prepped for this, obviously. We want to know both of your Mount Rushmore of death metal albums, please, chaps.
Let me pull the list out.
Hey.
So this is kind of an amalgamation of both of our ideas, because I mean, we're trying to keep it under like 15 minutes of describing, the best records for us.
Yeah.
So.
And again, before we do this, this is one of those things where, bro, it could change tomorrow. It could change next week. I don't know.
Of course.
So,
man.
All right. So this is one thing that I think is kind of lame. Whether we're talking about hard lore and the top 4, hardcore records, or we're talking about death metal and you guys, and the question that gets asked a lot, no one talks about the brand new fucking modern bands. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to give you the list, our list for the old school bands, and we're going to give you our list for the new school bands.
Oh, yes. That's what we want, definitely.
This is what we want, mate.
I feel like that should already have been happening. Before I even get into this right now, I'm going to tell you one huge thing. Nocturnal is probably just one of my favorite records of all time. Mm-hmm. Same with him, and same with the majority of the guys in the band. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Oh, it's a world-class record, man.
Rest in peace, Trevor, and
God bless you, man.
I actually was watching your guys' podcast with Trevor actually a couple days ago. I stumbled upon it. I hit up Trevor. I was like, they had Trevor on, and they're like, oh yeah. So like,
bro, that was not long after we first started as a podcast, and we were like, we will never get Trevor. Like, do you know what I mean? Someone of that ilk. We had about 7 people listening to us, so we just messaged him on the off chance. He was like, yeah, of course, dude. Like, no worries. He did so much for us, didn't he, Def? Like, he was
a great support. He was a great supporter. Yeah, he was the best.
He was just the best, man.
He was a sweetheart, man.
Yeah,
he was a sweetheart. Also, you guys have my favorite song intro for your podcast over any other podcast.
Oh wow, thank you, man.
Yeah, I dig it. The new one's really cool too. I like that one
Yeah,
as well.
that
But
was
the other
really
one was
cool.
rad as shit. So
Yeah, thank you, man.
all right, we're gonna get into it. So for old school bands, we're going with Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme. I know it's a little bit more modern, but you know it's the old school band, right?
Yep.
Reign Supreme rules. Cannibal, Evisceration Plague. That's been one that you know we both love a lot and talked about earlier with the record and everything. Suffo, Human Waste, first record.
Oh wow.
I love that one. I love
wow.
the cover. Yeah, I love it. I love the old school stuff. I like, you know, the next one's Death, Leprosy, but I also really enjoyed the first record, man. The Scream Bloody Gore. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the imagery's cool and it's like bare bones, and so that would be the top four that we had. And then the new school stuff, I'm going Frozen Soul.
Oh, cool.
The first record, Crypt
The
of
first one,
Ice.
Crypt of Ice.
First record, yeah. Undeath, the second record. I like all three, and the new EP is really cool. But Time to Rise from the Grave.
Ah, what a
second LP.
Necrobionics, man.
Yep.
What a track. Yeah.
Dude, they got bangers on there, and Alex is such a sweet dude.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah, they're super cool. We got Necrot, the brand new one, Lifeless Birth.
Yes, mate.
Dude, Drill the Skull.
Drill the Skull's an anthem.
Talk about a banger.
Anthem.
Talk about, yes, exactly. And I'm like, this is what we need to do. I got my kids dude, I have my son who's 6 years old in the car, and he's like, Drill the Skull. It's awesome.
That is great parenting, man.
I love it, man. And then we got Skeletal Remains, The Entombment of Chaos. So I think that was their third record. It was, And I've toured with that band before. I was in a band called Splattered. We did a run with them for a month, and that was around that time when that record came out. So that's got a soft spot in my heart for it. And you know,
those are sweethearts too, man.
They're all really cool. And all those bands we just mentioned were influences on Cody Jones, who wrote 6 of the 8 songs for the record. You know what I mean? So, and then one honorable mention.
Yes.
Gate Creeper, Dark Superstition.
Oh,
yes.
Bro, they have radio bangers on that fucking record, man.
Yeah.
There's 3 tracks on that record that could be on the radio.
Yeah. What they did with that record was unbelievable. Dropping like little bits of gothic rock in there and like just stadium. What they've done is they have pushed the ceiling of where death metal can go higher. Like for everybody else to go, fuck, we can fucking get there as well then. Like I love that band. Love those dudes as well. They're just the best.
Dude, all their records are so good, and we're all huge fans of that band. Hence the long sleeve situation
and the chains.
What's that?
And the
chains. We might have picked that up from somebody. But dude, the last record, like, it's a little different, but I think it's phenomenal. I think it's so good. And like I said, there's like 3 or 4 tracks on there that could like. I mean, look, man, less is more.
Yes.
Less is more. It's not like the riffs are complicated. We don't need Necrophagist anymore, man. We want headbanging groovy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Necrophagist rips. That band's awesome, but it's just, we're just in this new age now where hardcore is huge, and kids want to mosh and move, and it's all about headbanging and groove.
I agree with you, man. That's the shit. We love death, innit?
Yeah,
we talk about groove all the time, man, don't we?
All the time.
Yeah. Travis and Travis, it's been an absolute fucking blast having you guys on, man. Thank you for hanging with us for an hour or so this evening, dudes.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, bro.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. I mean, we've been wanting to do this, man. We're big fans of your guys' show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. It won't be the last time. We'll definitely have you guys back on, and we'll be in long sleeves next time to.
Yes.
There you go.
Sure.
We'll get that.
Yeah. We've dropped there's a link to your Bandcamp and your website and everything in the episode description. So if you haven't heard the record, what the fuck are you doing? Go and make sure you get on the record, pick it up, support the boys. We'll be back very soon. So until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.